I just want to do a review real quick with you all on the BABYKLOK Tour. I saw them over in New York City. Got to see Jason Richardson and Dethklok and Babymetal. You guys already know I know who Babymetal is, but this was my first time hearing of Dethklok and Jason Richardson. I've seen a Dethklok clip a long time ago. All I can remember is like a cymbal going off the stage and chopping someone's head off. I just knew they were part of this Metalocalypse thing or something that was on Cartoon Network. Okay, let's start off with Jason Richardson first. First off, he was the guitarist for Born of Osiris and Chelsea Grin. He's now the member of All That Remains officially, and he also has his solo project. So this was his solo project. It was very cool, really great guitarist. He played to a bunch of backing tracks and just shredded everyone's face off pretty much. The cool thing about it was we had a lot of lights going on, lighting up behind him and with him, and that was pretty cool. But to be honest with you all, wasn't quite my thing. I want a whole band playing, so it was a little weird just seeing him essentially just like riffing around. It was cool. Like the music's good. For my taste, I would just have preferred a full band. But other than that, great guitarist. Still recommend checking him out. He is a phenomenal player. He has some cool like melody and genre changes that came up a little bit later in the song. There's one song that he did that was featuring Tim Henson from Polyphia that was also awesome, and it's called Upside Down. It was actually probably one of my favorite songs. There's another song he did that was part of the whole genre change thing, but I can't remember the name of it. And when I look up his set list, I can't find it anywhere. So if you know the set list, let me know down in the comments. Now for Dethklok. Dethklok, I wasn't sure what to expect because I know it's from a cartoon and I wasn't sure what I was going to get. So they start off their show and it's all animated in the beginning. So that was really cool to see them pull that off. So it's pretty much having like visualizers for the entire set. Very different. It's for me, this is the first time watching a concert like this where you just see like the screen, right? And then you just see dark shadowy figures on the bottom. One of the songs that really stood out to me was where they have like this demon lady going down and giving the guy a blowjob, and then they show like his genital area and it's just like a ball of fire, and then they start spitting fire at each other, and then by the end of the video she's like spitting fire out of her tits and he's doing it from his cock, and they're just having a genital fire battle, I guess you could call it. But anyway, there's a lot of weird songs like that. The coffee one was pretty cool. I liked the guitar harmonies that were in it. They were very unique, a little weird. Overall, it was just a solid show, but it did feel like it dragged on for me. But then again, I was just so excited for Babymetal, so I could be biased on that one. They killed it. All the solos were great. It was really awesome. They had 3 guitarists at one point. At the end of the set, they do show all of their faces. They show everyone that's playing, and I think it's about like 6 members, and they show like one of the original members. I don't know that much about Dethklok, so if you want to let me know more about them, go ahead and leave me a comment down below in the comments. I would recommend seeing them. It's entertaining. This was a very unique show. And then we have Babymetal that comes up next, and the crowd erupted at this point. They all came out. They started off with Babymetal Death, and you know how that's going to go down. The entire crowd just picked up at that moment. A lot of people were waiting for them. They were the headliners for this concert, and they just killed it. They started off with a nice beautiful intro, and then we go into Gimme Chocolate, which is a well-known song by everybody. Even if you're not a Babymetal fan, that was like one of the songs that a lot of people know. That was a song that went viral and put them on the map, which was cool how they did that in that order. Then after we had Gimme Chocolate, it went to Papa Ya, which admittedly, not one of my favorite songs, but live, it's absolutely the best. You're sitting around swinging this towel, and it's just so great. My only gripe was people don't know how to spin the towel, but you know, it is what it is. Everyone tried their best, and it was really cool. Just the energy felt so amazing. It felt so amazing. It was just beautiful to see everyone get into that. So you have like this dancing thing that gets the blood flowing, which leads us into our next song, which was Distortion, which was just brutal heaviness. At this point, they had to fix Sue's vocals because it was kind of hard to hear during Gimme Chocolate and Papa Ya. Not too hard to hear. You could tell they were adjusting it and she was getting louder and more clear, but Distortion, they nailed it. Everything is good. Mix is solid. And this is something that usually happens at concerts. Normally they like have to do some adjustments. Sometimes it's great out the gate. All depends, you know, it depends on what they're doing. But I think since we started off with Babymetal Death, it's a different kind of vocal mix compared to the other songs. But anyways, Distortion comes out heavy as hell. Always sounds amazing. But I was surprised. One of the songs that I've never liked, but I absolutely loved it. And it was my all-time favorite of the entire set list. That was BMC. BMC was ridiculously heavy. It was so great. The way that the chugs came in, the thickness, the fullness of the bass and the guitars. And then I realized why it's so thick and heavy. And I'll tell you more about that in just a second. It was just the ultimate version of BMC. This is the best version of BMC I've ever heard. Even out of all the DVDs I've watched, all the concert reactions, this was the best version of BMC. Absolutely. So after they like blast her face and Sue does her killer like rap flow that happens in the middle of BMC, we have Believing, which she hits this incredible high note near the end of the song that sounds beautiful. Like I said, her vocals are perfectly matched at this point. And this song, like I said before, from the album version, she really shows off her vocals on the song. So that's what it's about with this one. But I did hear some more guitars on this one compared to the album. There's definitely more guitars in the forefront, and you could still hear Sue though soaring over it with her vocals. And like I said, the final note at the end was just amazing. And guys, I did film the entire concert, and it's over on the Guys You Guys podcast if you do want to check it out to see what I'm talking about. I got it from an audience perspective. So after this song Believing, we get Monochrome, and I feel like with this set, it was just a perfect arc. So we have this big climax, and then we have this like Eye of the Storm kind of thing. Because right after this song, we start running for the hills. It starts getting crazy. But before that, we have Monochrome, which is just a badass song. It just sounds epic, and it sounds so heavy live. It sounds really good. I love the effect choices that they chose for the lead guitars that you hear on the live version compared to the actual version on the album. There's definitely this like cool harmonizer pedal that they have on both of the guitars that sounded really cool, sounded really full, and it brought it all together. And then of course, every time they do Monochrome live, they ask everyone to put out their phones, which is awesome because when they put out their phones, it just lights up the entire stadium, which is so cool. It literally got brighter. I was like, what the hell is going on? Did we just like turn on the lights here in the ballroom? And that's what it felt like. It literally was just like dimmer and then bam, brightness, which was so freaking cool. Absolutely loved it. And then after this, we're off to the races with their new song, Metally. But wait, before they do Metally, Commie Band comes out, and they have their own instrumental thing going on, which I really appreciate. I was wondering if we're going to get a Commie Band instrumental, and we did. And then this is where they highlighted the solo, they highlighted the bass, they highlighted the drum, and I really loved it. The guitar solo was one of the most unique guitar solos I heard in the entire night. It just was catchy. It got caught in your head. And then I was so shocked when they started playing the bass. The bass tone was so heavy. And that's what I was hearing during BMC. It was that bass tone, because when the guitar was going quieter, that bass was still hitting hard with the drums. And that's why BMC was so heavy in there. Now, I will say they got the Barone, and I know Barone's a monster. So I was really expecting a little bit more with the drum solo, but it was still cool, but it was like really, really short. I was expecting like some insanity, like from what I've seen, like some Gravity Blast kind of feels or whatever, but it doesn't matter. He still killed it. The show was amazing. It was just, you know, when you've seen this guy do some things, you're expecting him to do some things, you know? Anyways, at this point, everyone's just getting louder and louder and louder. Everyone's singing the washoy, washoy. Everyone's going nuts. At one point in the song, she tries to get everyone to sit down, but the venue's too packed, so we can't even like sit down at the bottom. Well, I was on the balcony. I was watching everyone trying to sit down. It was like really hard. But the cool thing is people made the best of it, because the ones that were able to sit down, they started rowing. It was a weird little row, but they tried their best, and it was cool to see. And after that, we can just go right into the next song, which is Megasune. Now, when Megasune started off, when they did the intro, the crowd just like erupted, like, like going off, and everyone just got completely into it. And then the energy didn't stop, because you guys know, like, Megasune is like, it's the quintessential baby metal song, all right? And it got everybody going. But then they doubled it up with Headbanger right afterwards. And again, Headbanger starts, everybody's going nuts. The mosh pits are getting way bigger. There was two of them at one point going on. We had a giant one. We had a small one up front. It was just phenomenal overall. They start with Road of Resistance, and you guys already know this was amazing. We had the Wall of Death attempt, I should say. Everyone tried to make room for it, but like I said, it was packed, which I can't complain. I'm happy that's packed for Babymetal. It just went off. It ended, and I was like, why? I want more. It was the fastest hour ever. Okay, it was the fastest hour I have ever listened to in my life. It was like Babymetal learned how to warp time in New York. I don't know how they did it. They came up with some musical experimental device or something to make their hour set feel like 15 minutes, which was very, very impressive. I just don't know how they were able to manipulate time like that, but it made me very sad because I could feel that they, shortened that hour to 15 minutes, and they should have never done that. They should have, done 2 hours and, put it in the frame in an hour. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Maybe that's what Time Wave's about. Maybe that's about them manipulating time. But anyways, I had a full discussion about this concert with Champa Medium and Wade Potter on our podcast called Gaijin Guys. You can go ahead and check that out. It's right over here somewhere. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, because then you'll be notified when I drop my video about how I met Babymetal. See you in the next one. See you.